On average, you'll have to wait 31 days to see an OBGYN. And if you're dealing with an infection or outbreak, you know you need care fast. That's where WISP comes in. Connect with a U.S. licensed provider online and pick up safe, effective treatment at your local pharmacy that same day. Plus, get birth control and more delivered in all 50 states. Take control with comprehensive sexual and reproductive care, all from your phone. WISP. That's hellowisp.com. The waiting room can wait.
Maybe that's where that kind of comes from, this whole spending paradox thing where like we want to spend money on other people because it's that people pleaser in us. And again, it comes back to that thought process that we need to make other people happy before we can make ourselves happy.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, here with the lovely Bree Tucker.
Why? Hello, buddy. How are you doing today?
So as you know, Bree, I'm not one who can fake something. And Bree, I am coming into this episode in a bad mood. So I just want to give permission to everybody out there that if you are in a bad mood, you do not have to hide it from people. You do not have to pretend you're in a good mood. But I'm just putting it out there because I'm hoping just by addressing it, that's the first step. You got to name it to tame it, right?
Yes. And we all have rough days. We have our days where things work out really well. And then days where you wake up and you're just like, oh, it's going to be a struggle today.
Yes. Well, I mean, I had a struggle this morning when I was trying to get my son to school. He was in tears because he did not want to go to a certain activity that was being done today. And I mean, it took a lot of just sitting in patience and being there and everything that we tell you to do as a parent, just know how hard it is to do it. It's hard. And I didn't lose my cool. I stayed with him. I was calm. I was centered. I am very, very proud of the way I acted through the whole situation. And he got to school. But it takes a huge emotional toll on you too as a parent. And I just feel like I'm ready to break into tears.
I would say you're dealing with what I call the emotional hangover of it, where you had to use every bit of your energy to get through something. And then it just makes you feel exhausted. But we have those days. And a lot of times I feel like we try to take the shortcuts around it. We try to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to wipe out the rest of my stuff today because I had to give so much to another member of my family or somebody else. I'm just going to give up on myself today, which kind of leads us into our topic for today about how we do things for other people and then we just kind of push ourselves to the back.
It is true. We do have a tendency to do that because honestly, I want to give up on all of my goals today. And I have 2 episodes of Hacks that I need to catch up on. So
that's not bad. That's actually for you. I'll give you that. I have those days too.
It's a hard thing, but I am going to Pilates and everything too, because as we tell you here, it is important to make sure that you prioritize yourself so that you can be there for other people. I mean, the only reason I'm able to actually stay calm when my son is having an emotional meltdown is because I do have that time and energy that I use just for me. And being able to step away from parenting 24/7 and go out with friends and buy stuff for myself and do stuff that makes me happy, it gives me the emotional bandwidth, even though this parenting thing is so hard, so damn hard.
I 100% hear you about that. We have so much that we carry. It can be difficult. So today we are going to tackle why it's harder to spend money on us than it is to spend money on everybody else. That is a phenomenon that I feel like it's very unique to women.
It is very unique to women.
Right? I don't see it as much in men.
And if you look at it from a marketing perspective as well, just because, here at No Guilt Mom, we run a business. And so we see the trends and we know what's going on in our own business. Usually when you're selling to women, you have to tell women how it benefits someone else that they buy that purchase for themselves.
Yes.
Which is crazy. It's crazy because with men, you kind of appeal to their sense of autonomy and be like, wouldn't you be so proud if you got this? And can't you see yourself later? And that's the way that men go. And it's just how we've all been programmed in society. Like anytime someone's like, oh, patriarchy's not real and like, oh, we're on our own free will. It's lies, guys.
Yeah.
It's lies.
You tell me how many men will be walking through Home Depot looking at washers and going, God, wouldn't it be so great to have all these different options? I could get the laundry done so much faster.
Yeah.
No. Theirs is like, wouldn't it be great to get this new table saw? I could finally make those cabinets that I've always been dreaming of, or what? Like, it's just a different setup. It's just a different way we look at things. So, yeah.
It is. And it's like, there's also a lot of guilt put in with spending because I know, like, we were talking about this before, and I will not buy things for myself because I think I'm being wasteful, or I think I'll need it sometime, the money sometime in the future. And what if I buy this for myself now to make myself happy now? Won't I be like trading out future security or happiness? Or like, it gets very messed up and muddled in my head. Becomes the point where it's like, I'm not buying anything to keep myself happy. I only buy it on a necessity thing. And that's no fun at all. No fun.
No. And this isn't a new topic either. We have broached this to some extent before. We had that lovely episode about why we all have holes in our undies that we have a link to here in the show notes. But this episode, we are not only going to dig into why we tend to put ourselves last and why we tend to cancel our own wants and needs in place of others, but we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to stop doing that.
Yep. And we were going to get into it right after this. Let's get on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom Podcast.
So, Bree, I've been doing some interviews for my upcoming book, Guys Permission. It's called Permission. Fall this year, 2025. Still on the rough draft, but it's going to happen. It's going to I'm making really, really great progress and self-publishing. So, of course, I have complete control of the process, which is also delightful working with our lovely friends over at selfpublishing.com on it. But regardless of all that, I could really go down a rabbit hole and talk about this book. I'm doing interviews, and one interview in particular sticks out about this episode where the woman was saying like how she doesn't really spend money on herself at all. And like, her dream, she wants to go to Disney World. She's a Disney fanatic and she thinks Disney World would be like the most awesome vacation. And that's what she would do. But she doesn't have the time to plan it, she says. She doesn't have the money to plan it. She doesn't have all those things. And so I asked her the question. I'm like, so if one of your kids said that they wanted to go to Disney World and it was like their dream vacation that they wanted to do for their birthday, and oh my gosh, mom, I want this so much, would it happen? And she's like, yeah, I'd find the time and the money. I mean, she's very upfront about it.
Yeah.
And I think all of us would be very upfront about it because we do that work for our kids, but we won't do it for ourselves.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like that actually makes me think about the first time I went to Disneyland as well. Like that was for my kids. And I worked a second job to like save up the money so that we could go because I wanted it to be this like great experience for them. And I would have loved to have gone on a vacation that was not focused on the kids, but I didn't feel like I deserved it. I felt like that was selfish.
Let's take it though and look at it from like another perspective, because think about how much pressure we are putting on that vacation and on our kids when we do it that way, because we spend all of this work and all of this hard money. And then if the kids have a bad mood, I mean, what's the immediate thing you think?
Oh, you're like you little ungrateful brats. You didn't appreciate this. That is the unfiltered response, people.
Yes.
You might have a nicer inside head, but that is exactly where mine goes is, oh my God. We won a trip to Legoland when my kids were in kindergarten and preschool. Mm-hmm. And I remember them being mad that I wanted to take pictures. And I was just like, you were getting a trip to Legoland for free. This is an amazing trip. We will never be doing this again. Smile. Like you can tell in some of the pictures, my son's like, he has like a scared smile because he's like, Mom's being crazy. But you're right. It was not relaxing because for whatever reason, I felt like there needed to be a better degree of happiness happening. And that is so ridiculous when you look back at it now.
It's funny because my husband, Josh, he doesn't like Disney at all. But he says the one thing interesting at Disney is just watching all of the family interactions and the pressure that a lot of parents are under at Disney because, of course, they've shelled out so much money for this vacation for their kids. And if you're talking about Disney World, it is hot.
Thousands. So, yes.
I was once in Disney World. I was talking to one of the employees and they're like, yeah, we live here in Orlando. And I'm like, how is that year round? Because Orlando is just hot and muggy and like the humidity gets to me. And he's like living in the devil's armpit. And so that's always like.
That's okay. We live in the devil's oven here in Phoenix. So it's, either way. Someone left the door open to hell. Can we please close it? Can we close it between the months of June and October, please?
Yeah.
Anybody got the key?
So people are in Disney World during these horrible months in Florida.
Yeah.
The kids are, of course, uncomfortable. The parents are uncomfortable. And so many family fights erupt.
Yeah.
And it's just the pressure cooker. So I hope right now, if you're listening and you have a Disney vacation, I hope we're not like ruining it for you.
We're not.
Just take some proper precautions.
Just have realistic expectations. Yeah.
Yes. I'm not trying to get on every ride and stuff like that. But it's true. Like we will do all that work. We'll spend all that money on our kids, but we won't do the same if we want something ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So like there was, when we were talking about this episode, one of the things was like, maybe go through like your recent purchases on your Bake app and see how many are for you and how many were for your kids. And I didn't do that, but I know if I went through mine, the only thing on there for me is food. That is the only thing that I carefree, I can spend money on for myself and not feel guilty for. But if I buy a shirt, if I buy a pair of shoes, if I buy a pen, I'm like, do I really need that pen? It's a really nice pen. It's $3.50. It only comes in a 2-pack. I could just go to the Dollar Tree and get a 20-pack. Granted, they suck. Half of them don't write. But, I'm not sure if I'm worth $3.50 for a 2-pack of pens.
You are worth $3.50 and more. It is true.
Isn't
it's
that
true.
sad?
Yeah. And like our kids have no problems asking for things for themselves. Like sometimes I wish, nor do our husbands, I feel.
Well, I think it's a societal thing. I think it is. It's a societal thing, like you already said.
It is a societal thing. I mean, case in point, Bree and I went to Mexico. And we both dropped about $98 a piece on a tequila bottle for our husbands.
Yeah. Yeah.
With no second thought. It was like, oh, they deserve it. And it was the best tequila ever. Josh is almost halfway done with it.
I haven't had a chance to try mine yet because I just got better from being sick.
Yeah. But no thought whatsoever. Did we bring anything home from that trip for ourselves? No.
COVID.
I didn't. COVID.
I brought COVID and a stomach bug back.
Case in point.
Oh my God, guys, I'm almost crying about this. Oh, good Lord.
I rest.
Yes.
I rest my case. We could stop the episode now. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like that. It's always like that. That's just that. It's just how it is.
Right after this, we're going to go into like what's actually happening in this selfless spending and why we tend to do it more often than spend money for ourselves. So we'll do that right after this.
Okay, guys, the C word, it runs in my family, and a yearly physical just doesn't give me all the things I need to know. And that's why I am so excited about Function Health.
Exactly. We know you've heard us talk about it, but Function Health is truly the all-in-one health platform that helps you take control of your health through data. Instead of guessing what's happening inside your body, Function helps you know, providing access to over 160 tests.
These tests go way beyond most traditional checkup. We're talking about insights to your thyroid, hormones, hormones, liver, heart health, autoimmunity, kidney function, and even heavy metal toxicity.
What I love is that your Function membership includes biannual testing. So you establish a baseline and then you can easily spot changes over time. I'm really interested in the tests that help with understanding food and emotions and boosting my energy. So take control of your health outside the doctor's office today and get a $100 credit towards your annual membership at functionhealth.com/no-guilt. But act fast. The $100 credit is only for the first 1,000 listeners. Sign up right now at functionhealth.com/no-guilt. That's functionhealth.com/no-guilt.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Something that you found during the research for this, Brie, is that selfless spending actually releases dopamine, which is the brain's feel-good chemical. And dopamine is that thing associated with pleasure and reward. And self-spending can sometimes lead to guilt due to like these conflicting beliefs and emotional triggers. So, of course, I will hit the dopamine button every single time rather than have to confront all of those emotional triggers with buying things for myself.
Oh my gosh, yes. So like I'm thinking like an example of this right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get some skincare type stuff. And I like going to shout out to TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I like going there because I can get my stuff. They a lot of times carry what I use for like cheaper, right? But I get nervous about going there because I get excited and I look at all the little trinkets there, all the little things. And I'm like, oh, I could use this. Oh, I could use that. And I feel so good while I'm there and I'm shopping. But then the moment I get home, I feel like crap because I'm like, oh, I spent money on myself. Granted, I've earned the money. I have a job.
Yes.
Why do I feel bad spending it? I feel so great when I'm doing it. But then when I get home, I'm still happy about it. I'm still happy about what I got and everything. But then I just immediately start feeling guilty that I spent money on things for myself. Like, oh my gosh, that pit your stomach.
And it like makes you happy though in the moment. It's like so weird that it happens that way. But I've always felt that way. I don't know if it's like maybe something in us or like it's societal programming from a very, very young age. But I remember I never even wanted to try out or try to play basketball because I didn't want my parents to have to buy me shoes. And I mean, shoes were like over $100. They weren't that expensive compared to the other things the household was buying. Or trips to Costco or like grocery bills or like
Costco.
other things. It was called Price Club then. I had to stop myself there because people would be like, what's Price Club? It was called Price Club, guys.
Oh, really?
Yes. It was called
Well,
Price
we didn't
Club.
have those like in Kansas City. I don't think growing up. I don't remember that. If there was, my parents would have had it. Yeah. They love buying things in bulk.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? The thing about the dopamine is that the research says that it's spending money on something that we want, but also spending money on others can also give you that.
Yeah,
So
which
maybe
is a great thing. It's a great thing for generosity. And it's been shown in like multiple studies, which is why like community involvement is such a good thing. It can make you happier. Giving to others, it makes you happier. It all makes sense from that standpoint.
And it makes me think, I think there's also I'll be honest with you. I have a bit of a secret agenda.
Mm-hmm.
When I buy something for somebody that I love, friends, whatever, it's mainly my kids. I take that back. Not friends, whatever. This is just my family, my kids. Because I don't even feel like this about my husband. Sorry, guys. Bree's having an introspection moment on mic. I find that when I buy something for them, that I'm hoping that that makes them go, oh, I should buy things for other people. Not me, not mom. Just I should buy things for other people.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
isn't that weird?
It is.
Isn't that weird? Because when you really dig down to that, I'm wanting them to feel it is their responsibility to do that for other people. And now that I say that out loud, damn it, I don't want them to have that.
No, but it's funny looking into like thought patterns like that. I mean, the only way to correct them is to actually examine them and to notice that they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Bree's looking very thoughtful,
really
everybody. All of the
Sorry.
all of the
I'm, like,
Lola,
just
she's
sitting
looking
here
very
going,
thoughtful.
like,
She's realizing something here.
I'm like, wow, I was putting a lot on my kids all the time. I need to stop that. Well, good thing I figured it out by the time they were 18 and 16.
Yeah, I like just making people happy. Like when my kids get something, just see like someone else smile makes me smile.
Yeah, it does.
And part of it is a selfish thing in that way because I just like the smile. I like the laugh. I like making people laugh, even if it's like a stupid joke, which I do frequently. But it's harder. I guess I can't see myself smile when I get something. Or
maybe that's where that kind of comes from, this whole like spending paradox thing where like we want to spend money on other people because it's that people pleaser in us.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to that thought process that we need to make other people happy before we can make ourselves happy.
True, because if you look at our husbands, for instance, my husband has no trouble spending money on himself whatsoever. He will buy himself a new car. I mean, that is my husband, but
He has called you from the dealership on multiple occasions.
Yes. I've learned to know the warning signs now. I can see them. If I catch him looking at cars online and he hasn't mentioned buying a new car, it's coming in like 3 months.
Oh,
that's the lead up.
Wow.
There's no cars right now, thankfully. Don't need to think about that.
Well, because guys just he went
Just
through
got
it
a car.
recently.
Anyways, but he has no problem getting himself that. He has no problem going and buy himself vinyls, nothing. And I think the only thing like I will buy myself are I really love clothes and I have my subscriptions and books. I love it. I have, Book of the Month Club subscription where I look for that little blue box every single month coming in my mailbox. I have my Armoire subscription with clothing rental where I get to like try on new clothing. And that's been really fun because I don't have to keep it and find a place for it. I just get to see what looks good on me and like wear it occasionally and then send it back and get new things. So that's a good one as well. So I guess like I'm all about buying the consumable kind of things because like books, I read it. I consume it. I actually give my books away after I read them because
where do you give them away to? Like to just to people, or do you donate them to the library, or like
sometimes I leave them in hotel rooms for people.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, because there's all of these like reader shelves. Like if you go to hotels, usually you'll see somewhere in the lobby there's like a bookshelf. So I'll leave like my book there.
I saw that on our recent trip to Cancun. They had like little stands throughout the resort that had books just sitting on them. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that was a thing.
So like giving those things away. But again, it's the consumables, the food and everything we were talking about earlier. And I don't buy any like investment stuff for myself, which is odd when you think about it that way, because it's like, why am I not investing in my future? But I will invest in everybody else's.
It kind of brings us back to a point that we had. We had a conversation with Eve Rodsky a while back, and we were talking about how women don't value their time because we don't get paid for it.
Mm.
You and I, we have no guilt, Mom. We do a job here. There is pay for that, but we don't get paid for the work that we do at home, right? The things that we do for our family. Coordinating carpools, making sure that things are getting done, cooking dinner, cleaning, caring for the kids, all that stuff. And because of the fact that we don't get paid for that, we tend to also look at that as like unvaluable time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what ties us into the whole, we don't deserve this, but our kids and our spouses and our families, they do deserve it. And I think also part of it with me too is like, well, when my kids were littler, I'm like, well, they don't have a job. They don't have their own money. So I have to spend stuff on them. There's no way for them to get it without me.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, That was my thought.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband didn't have that thought. I don't think my current husband has that thought either. They don't sit there and feel like they owe something to other people like I do.
I think you are onto something, though, about that correlation with time and money. And we're going to get into it more right after this.
At Capella University, you can learn at your own pace with our FlexPath learning format. Take 1 or 2 courses at a time and complete as many as you can in a 12-week billing session. With FlexPath, you can even finish the bachelor's degree you started in 22 months for $20,000. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu. Fastest 25% of students. Cost varies by pace, transfer credits, and other factors. Fees apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
So talking about this time and money thing, I could see how that happens. Actually, I was just on a financial planning call this morning with my husband and our financial planner just for personal things. And my husband, he is very, very strategic with money. Yeah. So much so, like I would say he is more strategic than the average bear. We have an investment strategy. We have a retirement strategy. We have everything because of my husband. And I'm here sitting and like, we're going through all of his like investments and all of his pay. And it's much, 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 much larger than mine. Much, much, much. And I'm sitting here on the call being like, gosh.
Why am I here?
No, more like, what have I been doing with my life? Have I wasted? No, this is the first thing that comes in my head. I know, but this is the first thing that comes in my head. Like I've like wasted my potential. I've wasted my life. And then I'm thinking about it, and the financial planner's like, yeah, worst case scenario, and he's talking to my husband, how are we going to protect Joanne for like the future if something were to happen to you? And immediately, like, I did feel guilty in that moment because I'm like, oh my gosh, shouldn't I be taking care of myself? But then I'm like, no, wait a minute. I am the reason that everything happens in this family. I am the connector. I am the glue. I am the one who like takes everybody out of their rooms. And the reason I cook dinner is so everyone talks to each other. Because as you know, with having teens, that's a hard thing. That's a really hard thing to get going.
And I will say that in your scenario, your husband has made it clear that he does recognize that.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a great guy.
Right. And I feel like, though, a lot of us, we don't have that uncomfortable conversation a lot of times with our partner saying, do you see all the things that I do?
Yeah.
And it's okay to say, I'm feeling like I'm getting overlooked. I'm feeling like I can't spend money on me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's like one of those first steps to be able to make some progress, right?
I definitely like open that conversation up, I would say.
Yeah.
And say personal feelings because your spouse is your chosen partner.
Yeah.
And I bet you married this person because they were your best friend and they're still your best friend and they still want what's best for you. I want you to believe that wholly because a lot of the women I talk to who are in relationships now where like they feel that they've lost that connection with their spouse because these conversations aren't happening. We are so overrun by time and by work obligations that we forget to nurture the relationship with each other. And this isn't your fault. It's both parties not nurturing the relationship with each other because also we haven't been taught how to have those conversations. When I was younger, my mom and dad, They're still married, of course, but they would go to like separate rooms in the house and watch separate TV shows because they didn't want to watch the same TV show. And that was every night. It was no conversation over dinner. We actually had a TV at our kitchen table. I was like not taught how to have these conversations, nor that these conversations were necessary. And I think that's really common for a lot of people who grew up in the 80s and 90s to see that dynamic.
So with that being said, let's be perfectly clear. If you're in this area that we're talking about where you feel guilty when you do spend money on yourself, you put yourself and your needs behind those of other people in your family. And I don't care if you have a 1-year-old or a 17-year-old or a 23-year-old. It doesn't matter. I'm just talking about still putting your needs behind everybody else's consistently. It's a habit, and it's a bad habit. Because all it does is pull from your cup and make you feel more drained, less appreciated. And a lot of times that can build up to resentment over time. So we're telling you right now, start with a conversation, right?
Yeah, just start with the conversation. Just say, I feel like I can't spend money on myself through no fault of yours. Because I think that's really important when you start these conversations with your partner. It's not that you're coming up and saying that it's your fault. You spend all this money on you and you go golfing all the time and you do this and like, I don't spend money on myself. Like, that's not the conversation I recommend having.
And why? Because nobody wants to be immediately accused and made into a villain.
Yeah.
As soon as your kid comes up to you and says, you are the meanest mommy in the world, I hate you, you're not about to have a very open mind and listening to what they have to say. So the first thing we need to do is acknowledge that a lot of us have this feeling. And like we just pointed out, it's probably not your spouse.
It's probably not.
This is a societal thing. It started when you were way younger.
I mean, with me, when I had this conversation with Josh, I'm like, oh, I really want this, but should I spend money on it? And he'd always be like, if you want it, yes. Like, it was such a simple cut and dry solution. And the more I talk to him about those things, the more that kind of thinking really embeds itself in my head. And I start hearing his voice when I say, do I want something? Now, that said, we know that not all guys are that understanding. We've heard it when we know it.
And in some families, and in some situations, we're not talking about blowing $1,000 on yourself for something. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. If you have the ability, that is awesome. But I know that most families, again, we're talking about the $3.50 pen. A pen that is $3.50, and I won't allow myself to get it because I think it's a splurge.
Or like the most gorgeous $100 top that is made of really great material and just feels amazing and will like pair with every single outfit. And you still say no to yourself that you can't buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just working on a lot of times when you feel like you have that block, it probably is much deeper. It's a deeper block of I'm not worthy of it. I should not be doing that, so on and so forth. So the first way to start tackling that is to have a conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Have that conversation.
And if you're not ready for the conversation, you talk a lot about journaling, writing out your feelings.
Journaling,
first.
word vomiting, all the things. What I find helps if I don't know how I feel about something, I'll set a timer for 20 minutes and then I'll just word vomit all of my thoughts about that one thing for 20 minutes. I think that's what I got wrong about journaling in the past. I thought journaling was dissecting my entire day. And that became really boring after a while. But if you come to journaling with a set topic, you can find clarity pretty fast on what you think about that topic, what might be holding you back on that topic, what thoughts come out about that topic, like how Bree had the sudden realization that she was forcing her kids to buy stuff for other people. You might find realizations like that.
Or just that I thought that that's what they would get from me buying things without any conversation. Without any conversation. I'm like, see, I bought you a gift. Now I want you to internalize that and spread it out to everybody else in the world. Bit of a jump. Going on there. So yes, word vomiting, writing down how you feel about it, having that conversation. Because the other thing that I think is important to both, Joanne, you and I feel very strongly about this. We know that our kids are watching us. We know personally We've had the conversations with our kids that they see what we're doing, and that is shaping their expectations both for themselves and for their future selves, like their partners, what they plan for relationships to look like in the future.
Yeah.
And if they see that you, and I'm going to tell you the truth, they see you as the mom 90% of the time. So if you have a son, they're going to be expecting this out of their partner, possibly. And if you have a daughter, they're expecting this out of themselves in this role, that moms are to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
We are to be sacrificed. We are to be last. And that's what being a good mom is. And we're here to say, no.
Yeah.
Let's scratch that record. That's not the case.
That's not the case at all. And I think we see that so much in society too, where people are like, oh my gosh, my mom gave up everything for me and I'm so grateful for her. And
yeah, you could be grateful.
You could be
That's
grateful
great.
for her and
awesome.
Could also go do something for herself.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it today because, as you guys know, we've talked about this before. I mean, when you are public on the internet, especially like running a business, you get the comments from people. And as much as I try to have those comments not stick in my head, they do from time to time. And so this one comment, I asked about this women runner who was finishing a marathon, obviously first because she was going through the tape. And the dad was standing on the wrong side of the finish line with two small children. And the small children ran towards the woman before she got to the finish line, by the way. And the woman, of course, skirted aside the kids and ran toward the finish line. And you can see the dad in the background going, what the? Oh my gosh. And the kids are crying because mommy didn't hug them. And I said, I was like, what would you do in this situation? I know as a runner what I would have done. The exact same thing. The exact same thing she did. And one male commented, oh, because everything's about you. And I was like, oh, you have hit me so hard with that comment. You have no idea. Like,
that is somebody who's working through their own shiznit. That is definitely that. That is someone who is mad at someone else and you're the one that's there. And
no, it's true. But it also like it goes on every single place, every place. Going back to the permission book interviews, one of the questions that I was asking women are, have you ever been told you were selfish? And many of them said, yes, I was told it by a brother. I was told it by my mom. I was told it by an ex-husband that I was selfish. There was a story about a woman who was a photographer. And she gave up photography for a little while. And then she saw this camera in a shop that she really wanted to buy. And her ex-husband told her, no, it's not worth it. It's too expensive of a thing to buy right now. And so she didn't buy it. And they got divorced. And he ended up being a photographer, she said. Ironic twist.
Ooh,
and
ouch.
He bought a camera for himself, of course. No problem at all.
Okay, that story makes me want to give her a big fat hug.
I know. And it happens so often where women are told that they are not worth something. And so as we end this episode, we want to tell you that you are worth everything that you desire. And if there's someone in your life telling you that you're not worth it, you need to question that relationship a little bit.
Well, there needs to definitely be a conversation.
There needs to definitely. And when I say question the relationship, I do mean have a conversation with that person, but don't accept it as fact. That's what I don't want you to do. Don't accept it as fact.
Yeah. Don't just be like, this is how things need to be going forward. I really would love for you guys to look at what story are you telling your kids?
Yeah.
About your worth and the worth of their partner in a relationship in the future.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you want some more tools to go through these things, and if you need tools on how to have these conversations, that's what we do in our Balance membership. It is so much more than a course. It is this community that boosts you up and helps you through it, especially if you are right here trying to balance this work life and family life and feeling like you are failing at both. We're here to support you. So we have a link to Balance right there in the show notes. And until next time, remember, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you. Talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You could also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.